Hey fellow campers, today we asked the question, do you really know how to park your camper? Hey, welcome to Two Camping Gurus. If you like camping in the great outdoors, you are in the right place. Alright, so you've finally picked the campground you're going to head out to and you're on your way and you get there and now you got to get that thing backed in, driven in, whatever it might be. Some things to consider is your site a pull-through site, a back-in site. Once you figure that out and you know the situation you're up against, then you got to figure out how to get it in there and take into consideration all of your hookups. There's a lot to consider. Before you get to that point though, if you are a new to driving a RV or towing a travel trailer, then I highly recommend you do some practice with it. If your driveway is big enough, do it there. If not, do it in an empty parking lot somewhere. Use some cones trying to get in and around things. Because when you get into some of these campgrounds, you've got to get around trees, and some places have picnic tables that are not movable, and the hookups are in odd places. So you got to make sure you're able to maneuver your rig around these things so you can get it set up at the campground. So once you've taken the time to practice either at home in your own driveway or in a parking lot and you're ready to go, let's say you finally made it to your campground and you're getting ready to back in or drive in. The first thing I recommend is you get out of your vehicle, walk your site, inspect it with you and whoever else. If you have two people with you, even better, so you both can have a plan ahead of time for when one of you is in the vehicle and the other one's doing the directing outside. This is very important. No hand signals, so you don't end up in a situation where you're backing into somebody or something causing damage. While you're out walking around your site, what you want to look for is where are your hookups. Every campground is a little bit different. They have a general standard setup where your hookups are on the driver's side towards the back, because that's where most of your hookups in your unit are. But occasionally in older campgrounds or in unusual situations, that's not the case. So you got to locate where is your power hookup, where is your freshwater hookup, and where is your sewer hookup. Once you know where those are, then you can have an idea of how you have to position your rig so you can get those things hooked up. Important thing to note is typically your sewer hose is the shortest hose you're dealing with, so that's one of the most important things to make sure is within range. Once you have that, you should be all set. You can buy extension hoses for that if you need be, if you have to. As well as your regular hoses and the other stuff as well. The other thing to consider is where are the trees on the site? Is it an open site where you have plenty of room, or is it a closed-in site where you have a lot of shade trees and things like that you might have to move around? Is it a level site? You have to park your unit in such a way to get it as level as possible so that then you can use leveling blocks if need be. So you got to know how you're going to be backing that rig in so you're in the best position possible. Also, is the picnic table movable? Sometimes picnic tables are not movable, and sometimes they don't want you moving those. So you got to know where that is, so you're not running into that, because if you're backing and it's on your blind side, this is when it's very important that you have good communication with your spotter if you have one, or if not, then you know where things are before you start backing up any rig, or even pulling through a campsite, because sometimes it's hard to see some of these blind spots. The other thing to consider is where is the campfire ring. Typically, campgrounds do not want you moving the campfire rings. They are in a particular location that's as safe as they can be for any given site. So they don't want those things moved around for the most part. It's very rare that they let you take and move those things around. So you want to know where that is so you're not backed up on top of that or right close to the side of it, because you're trying to get away from something else, because you don't want your campfire too close to your rig. So those are some things to take into consideration before you start backing up. Know where these things are and know how you're going to position your unit so it's the best setup for your situation. Another very important thing that sometimes people don't consider is the awning. If you have an awning, is it the full length of your unit? How far out does it go? And do you have clearance between your unit and the next tree? Now typically the campgrounds have space for that, because I know a lot of people have awnings, but not always. And if you plan on opening that awning up, you want to make sure you have the space that you need to be able to do that without having to move your rig, the last thing you want to do is get backed in so your hoses are hooked up or in a position where they can be hooked up. You get those things hooked up and then you find out your awning won't open, or you're too close to the fire pit or the picnic table, you can't open the door. These things have happened. I've seen it with other campers when we're out camping and people have had to move their units, and we've done the same mistakes ourselves in the beginning. So these are things to really take a look at so you know where things are. So once you've taken the time, you've practiced, you feel comfortable with your unit, you know where everything is, you get that thing backed in there, you're using your spotter, you get it safely in the position, then you get everything hooked up, your hoses, your electricity, get your awning open, get that campfire going, and sit back and relax and enjoy your stay. But anyways, these are all things that you want to consider when you're getting ready to set up your campsite. Alright, fellow campers, I hope you found that video helpful. If nothing else, at least hopefully it was a little entertaining for you. If you are a seasoned camper or you're getting ready to head out for the first time, then I encourage you to click on the link below and download my free ebook and pre-trip checklist to make sure your vehicle and your camper is safe and you are completely ready to hit the road. Again, that is free. It's right in the description just below, or you can type in your browser pretripchecklist.gr8.com and get that today. Also, don't forget to comment on this video, like this video if you found it helpful, and of course subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. I'll be releasing a video every day this month, and hopefully you'll find something here that's helpful to you. And if you have any questions, again, leave them in the comments below and I'd be happy to get back to you. As always, have a great day and happy camping.